am cherishing today, because this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Hi there! I'm so glad you could join me today as we sew up a possibility pouch, shaker style. This possibility pouch is going to look like it's always carrying a sweet little treat. So let's get started. You need one back, which we're going to use jelly vinyl, and you need two fronts. One of them needs to be perfectly clear. I have left the backing on so you can kind of see what I'm doing with it for the moment. The next thing you need is your zipper tape, the same width as your front and back pieces. And then I'm going to use just two zipper trim pieces. You need your zipper pull. If you plan on using a custom logo tag, you'll need that. And then you're also going to need your little pieces that are going to be sandwiched between the two front pieces. The first step is to take out your zipper tape. You're going to line the bottom edge with double-sided tape. Then you're going to take out your clear window, which I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off, and you are going to align it. You need to be real careful when you put it on. You do have to take the backing off here. And if you can see, there's different lines in your zipper tape. I normally like to just find a line and line it up. So just carefully and slowly find a line to line it up on. And then follow that line the entire way down the zipper tape. All right. Now you're going to take your top piece and you're going to line it up right at that same mark. You could put more double-sided tape. I find that they hold together pretty well. And you can just clip them the rest of the way around just to hold them in place. We're going to take this to the machine and we're going to actually sew it right along the edge of the zipper tape. You'll sew right along this edge of the zipper tape. Now that they're sewn together, we can take the clips off. We can use more double-sided tape if we want across this edge. I like to keep it slightly out of the seam allowance, so slightly down from the edge, basically right over where you just sewed. remove the backing. Take a zipper trim piece and line it up just above where the other piece hit on both edges. And stick it down. Then you'll take this to the machine and you will sew with a 1/8 inch top stitch along each edge of this zipper trim. So let's go sew that. Some machines have problems sewing on vinyl, specifically the clear vinyl. If you do have problems, there's several things that I've found that help. I sometimes take Scotch tape and line the bottom of my foot with it. You can use masking tape also. Sometimes I also take a piece of paper and put it down on the bed so that the vinyl does not stick to the bed. Sometimes I have a problem with the actual stitching and you get loops on the bottom and I have to adjust my tension. I just play it by ear, and whichever one I get issues with is what I work on remedying. So these are just some of the things that I have seen. And flip it and sew the other side. The next step is to take out your back vinyl and lay down some double-sided tape along the edge. Remove the backing. And follow the same process to affix this one. And then we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to sew right along this edge. Now we're going to use some more double-sided tape for our trim. Put it right above the line there. And now we'll repeat the top and bottom top stitch on this zipper trim. Now that that is sewn together, we're going to take the back piece and we're going to line it up with the bottom of the front piece. We're going to use clips to hold it together. I think it'd be better to sew with the jelly side down because it'll slide better over the bed of the machine. And then we're going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew along this edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. The next thing I'm going to do is open the zipper. You don't have to do that part, but I like to make my bottom more clean. You can open the bottom like so, or you can push it all one way. And then what I like to do is take it to the machine and sew a top stitch right along this fold to hold the seam allowance towards the back. I'm going to actually do 2 lines of stitching, one 1/8 inch away from the fold and one more another 1/8 inch away. This will hold down this bottom seam allowance and make it a more finished and complete look. So let's go and sew our top stitch. I'm going to put my tag into position, so I'm going to use some double-sided tape to hold it in place. You can use a clip if you want. And now, you could always put your zipper pull on, the right way and then flip it inside out, but we need it inside out. So I'm going to put my zipper pull on like this. and pull it all the way off. We're now going to open it again, just slightly, and put it on again. We needed it closed on the other edge. If you don't have it closed on the other edge, then you can run into problems when you're trying to sew it together. So there we go. Now you'll want to bring it halfway, and in a few minutes we'll reach in. Once we've sewn this side, we'll reach in and we'll open it halfway. We want to keep the actual seam where we folded it as the bottom point. So we're going to fold it again right there to make that our bottom point. We're going to put a clip. And we will do that on this side also. And for now, we're going to only clip this side. Now we're going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance along this edge. Let's take it to the machine, sew that, and we'll be right back. When you get to the zipper, you'll want to go back and forth a few times. And then at this point is when you need to decide how much of an angle you want, whether you're going to box the bottoms or not. If you box the bottoms, the bigger box you have on the bottom, the bigger the angle outward the top is going to be. So at this point, I'm not going to box my bottoms. So I'm just going to go straight up. Okay, you will need to trim your top corner and your bottom corner so that it will set nicely. The next thing you'll want to do is open up between the two fronts. These little things I'm putting in have a flat back, so I want to make sure that I have the flat back towards the inside, like that. So I'm going to just kind of put them in here slowly so that I make sure I do them all the correct way. You never know if they'll really shake in there and how well it will. So and now we're going to flip it over. They should all be with the flat part here. We're going to clip this side. Oh, before I clip it all the way closed, I do want to open my zipper towards the sewn side. Leave this side still attached. And now we're going to take this to the machine and sew this side with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Again, at the zipper, make sure you backstitch quite a few times. Okay, and now we can trim these corners. The only thing you need to decide now is whether you're going to use any binding. If you're going to bind these edges to make a more clean finished look, you can use several different bindings out there. This one particular one is from Sophisticated Craft Supplies, and you can just wrap it around the edge. Actually, you will need to trim it down just a touch, and then you wrap it around the edge, take it to the machine, and then sew it. You'll need to singe your ends, and this will give you a very clean finished look. For this one, it's for me. I'm not going to bind it, so I will show you now. You just open your zipper up, and then you're going to turn it right side out. Vinyl and jelly both tend to have a little bit of problems turning, so you might need to heat it up with, say, a hair dryer or something to that effect. Set it in the sun. With the double layer of the clear vinyl, the hardest part is the corners. So we're gonna probably need to heat this up, which I will have to do off camera. We're getting very close. You can see the little gummies inside, and it does look like they'll move a little too. So let me get the corners turned all the way out, so that'll need to be heated up off camera, and I'll be back in a moment. The hair dryer worked perfectly. The corners are all turned out. If you shake it, you got your little gummy bears in there, so it looks like a nice little sweet treat. And you can still use your pouch for anything you want. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as we enjoyed sharing it with you. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to like and share. And while you're at it, check out some of our other tutorials. We love to see your creations, so please share and tag Cherishing Today when you do. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Cherishing Today Designs, for more inspiration.